Hello everyone, this is part 26 of What If Naruto Was Like Edward Elric in Fullmetal Alchemist, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Naruto stood, still perched on top of Gamakichi as he and the two brother toads looked out at Kakazu and two of his three remaining masks that he had manifested physical forms form, both his wind and fire ones. Naruto kneeled down on Gamakichi's head near his ear. Okay, those masks are manifestations of Kakazu's elements, they keep his extra hearts. Those are fire and wind. I already destroyed his earth one, so I would say that he personally only has two elements right now, lightning and water. Gamakichi nodded his head, but actually barely understood a damn thing that he was just told. Extra hearts. What the hell, does Ni-san mean that he has to K this guy more than once to win? Gamakichi looked over at his brother. Gamatatsu, you got all that? Gamatatsu looked over at his brother with his usual half-lidded smile on his face. I sure did, Anarchy. He's saying that those two freaky black things are just outside forms of this guy's powers. If we break those masks, then Naruto's enemy gets weaker and weaker and takes more of his powers away. Naruto grinned at the pudgy yellow toad. That's right, Gamatatsu. I knew you were more on the ball than Gamakichi gave you credit for. Gamakichi snorted. Ni-san, trust me, that was his obligatory 12 seconds of relative intelligence that he's granted every 6 months. Now let's do this already. Naruto nodded and jumped off of Gamakichi's back to land in front of both toads. All right. I have no clue what those masks do, so stay on your toes and be ready for anything. Help me take out all of the masks and I will give you both so many snacks you'll grow another 5 feet before you finish them all. The toads both widened their eyes before narrowing them and nodding in determination. Naruto rubbed his hands together and clapped them to initiate a transmutation to draw two slightly oversized tanto from the ground that fell into Gamakichi and Gamatatsu's hands. He looked back at the two of them. The two of you do know how to use those, right? You are Gamabunta's kids after all. They both nodded and held the blades at the ready, waiting on a cue to begin fighting. A tensing of Naruto's hands was their cue to start. In a streak of black and yellow, Naruto closed the distance and bypassed the two masks to get to Kakazu. This time, Kakazu was prepared for how fast Naruto was and began dodging his attacks. Naruto himself was forced to break off his attack and dodge as one of the masks attempted to attack him from behind. Naruto see off a piece of the mask's body, but it simply reassembled itself. Gamakichi and Gamatatsu both cleaved the bee in half as Naruto gained some distance, but once again they recovered by joining their black threads together once more. Kakazu took advantage of the momentary separation and tried to catch Naruto off guard from behind after emerging from the ground. Naruto narrowly dodged a knife hand strike that actually see him across his face. Despite dodging the initial strike, Kakazu grabbed Naruto by his shoulder using the trajectory of the whiffed attempt at a strike and pulled him into drive a knee into Naruto's body. The brother toads turned around abruptly at the sound of air violently leaving their summoner's lungs. Gamakichi panicked as they saw Naruto fly off of Kakazu's knee. Ni-san. Suten. Teppadama no Jutsu, water release. Liquid bullet. Gamakichi fired off a jutsu in order to get Kakazu away from Naruto so that the two toads could retake positions around him while he picked himself up. Naruto wiped at the deep sea on his cheek from Kakazu's attack. Ugh. Okay. Going for their B does absolutely nothing. Attack the masks. Kakazu laughed cruelly. Do you see, brat? The difference between you and I just can't be measured. I'm your superior in every way. I wonder if the hearts of the toads of Mount Myoboku are compatible with my body. Naruto spit out B from his internal injuries onto the ground, and they treat Jinchuriki like me and Gaara as less than human when there are real monsters like you walking around. Alright, no more B. If he's telling the truth and Akiza-chan is fighting some guy that's immortal, then I need to hurry up and beat this guy and get over to her. Kyubi-chan, time to turn up the heat. Alright Kit, finally. It took you long enough to take the kid gloves off. Kyubi basically purred from within Naruto's mindscape as she began pumping her chakra into his system. Gamakichi and Gamatatsu looked at Naruto in surprise as Kyubi's demonic chakra suddenly started bursting from his system. As his whisker marks became deeper and his eyes took on a red appearance, his voice became more gravely. Okay, round 1 is over and done with. Let's try this again, Kakazu, with feeling this time. 2 tails of chakra came from the cloak of chakra surrounding his body. Kakazu chuckled, brat, if I wasn't prepared to face a Jinchuriki that could use its demonic properties, then I would be a pretty sorry member of a Jinchuriki hunting organization, wouldn't I? Kakazu made a motion with his hand and sent out his 2 masks on another attack. One of the masks spit a small fireball at the trio while the other gave it a boost with a wind attack. Gamakichi chuckled at the size and prepared for another Teppadama no Jutsu, but there was someone that could feel the true power of the attack. Naruto-kun, get your collective a moving now. Heeding Kyuubi's warning, Naruto grabbed both Toad brothers by their jackets and jumped out of the way of the fireball before Gamakichi could try to match it with his water bullet. Upon making contact with the ground where they once stood, the fireball exploded in a firestorm that engulfed the immediate area, moving faster than Naruto could get the Toads to go. Kakazu watched as the flames engulfed the 3 fighters and waited to hear their screams of death. Whoops, I forgot I was supposed to bring the Jinchuriki in to lead Asama alive. Oh well, as long as Iwa can identify his corpse I can still get his bounty though. Kakazu's celebration was short-lived, however, as the raging firestorm his mask's attack created seemed to be absorbed where it had seemingly hit Naruto, Gamakichi, and Gamatatsu. The fire cleared to reveal an unharmed Naruto alongside the 2 Toads and 2 Cage Bunshin, who along with Naruto, had a scrolls open in front of them. Naruto had a fanged smirk on his face, Fukahuan, fire sealing method. Naruto allowed his scrolls to absorb the last of the flames before he placed them back into his pockets and let his clones dispel. That was pretty good. Thank Kami Ero Sennin taught me that seal in case I had to fight an Uchiha or some other firebug like you. Kakazu growled, a student of Fuinjutsu, ha. I guess that you Uzumaki just can't help yourselves, it's got to be in your B or something. Naruto had been checking to see if he had managed to keep Gamakichi and Gamatatsu safe from being burned by Kakazu when he heard him talk about his surname. Wait, what? What about the Uzumaki? Kakazu's masks returned to his side. When I went out to the Shodaime Hokage all of those years ago and was caught, I had to fight him and his nuisance of a wife. Mito Uzumaki, that bee was tough, even before she started using her Biju's chakra. Naruto's eyes widened. Wait, my clan was a real clan. My ancestor was married to the Shodaime Hokage. She was a Jinchuriki too. Why the F didn't anyone tell me? What? Was that too much for me to know back when I was a kid? Feeling his anger start to spike, Kyuubi attempted to calm him down. Naruto-kun, calm down and focus. You can get the details on these things later, and you shouldn't trust your enemy's words in combat either. Kakazu is experienced and can use anything to throw you off of your game. Naruto bit his left fist until he drew B, but nodded to himself and Kyuubi that he would chill out until the fight was over. Naruto whispered in the ears of both of the Toads, who nodded at the young summoner. XXX. With Akiza and Hidden. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. S. Akiza currently had a grip on Hidden's scythe and was unloading repeated punches to the face while utilizing Iwa no Yoroi. She had quickly turned his face into bad modern art with the strength enhancement of the technique, but was still mostly wasting her time and energy, seeing as how she had what had remained of his nose into his brain, far enough to K him and he was still walking around. F. Your AF nuisance. Hidden was let go and sent flying with one kick to the face, but quickly got back to his feet, leaking life fluids from his face, but smirking at her anger over the battle. Ah, is the little Iwa girl getting upset over little old me? I know what will calm you down, a little trip to meet Jashin-sama. Hidden one again sprang into attack mode with his scythe. Akiza's Iwa no Yoroi slowed her down for the added protection, which kept her from immediately getting herself out of his range. Instead of running, she stayed in close and tried to outlast his flurry of attacks. She had put up her Naginator in an effort to obtain added mobility while she waited for assistance, but could feel the use of her armor wearing on her. 15 minutes left before I'm completely done. Fullmetal, get your in gear and finish your guy so you can get over here and help me out. Hidden let a big grin cross his face. You seem to be slowing down. That's fantastic. The sooner I can see you to pieces and be done with you the better. Now just let me draw some BUB. Hidden finally made contact with her torso horizontally, sending her to the ground. However, his grin faded as he realized that he hadn't disemboweled her or even drawn any B from the hit. Akiza rolled back to her feet and felt the cracks to her armor from the attack. Damn. It's taking a ton of chakra to sustain, and keeping it as hard as I can is difficult without a decent source of hard minerals. Right now my armor is glorified hardened clay since we're nowhere near anything hard. Akiza was huffing as she looked at Hidden twirling his scythe in his hands. I can't let him hit me like that again, or this is as good as over. My armor doesn't have that many hits in it to keep sustaining through the damage. Gritting her teeth, she steeled her gaze on the immortal and prepared for another of his attacks. XXX. With Naruto and Kakazu. Naruto rushed at Kakazu, who let his masks run interference. Making a massive cage bunshin, he continued his dash forward. Naruto kept having to kawarimi with one of his clones due to the masks see through his forces systematically. Narrowly avoiding another blast of wind from the wind element mask, Naruto kept pushing forward. Damn these things. I'm getting Maya kicked by my own element. Why his Ero Sennin's lazier couldn't find me a waterfall to finish my training, I'll never know. The fire element mask appeared in the middle of Naruto's army of clones and S-wave after wave of them before getting punched in the mask by the original himself. What the hell are these black threads made of? Naruto stopped as he realized that his blade arm punch formed a crack on the mask, and the body that had been manifested for it to use had begun to destabilize. Naruto saw his opening and sent his clones into attack while he retreated to Gamatsu. With its mobility compromised, the fire element mask had begun to be overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of Naruto's cage bunshin. Landing on the yellow toad's head, Naruto patted him. Go for it, Gamatsu, this is our shot. Gamatsu nodded and built up pressure inside of his body while Gamakichi resolved to duel with the wind mask to keep it away. Naruto molded wind chakra atop the head of his yellow summon while Gamatsu's cheeks expanded massively. Naruto heard Gamatsu mumble something that he figured was their cue, and he patted him on the head. Futen, Gama Teppo, wind release, toad gun. Gamatsu released a massive and powerful stream of water that flew at Kakazu's fire element mask at a high speed. Being swamped by Naruto's cage bunshin, the element couldn't escape the attack and was hit head-on by the attack, which jerked it savagely back through the ground, causing a trench that coincided with where it was hit. The jutsu broke the mask, taking out yet another of Kakazu's hearts. Kakazu, who along with his wind element mask had been held off by Gamakichi while the other two fired the attack, felt overwhelming anger cloud his view as this young kid had destroyed another of his masks. You little son of a b. No one does this to me. You've done it now, I'll mutilate you. Kakazu allowed the last mask that was left on his back to manifest a body and sent it out to attack Naruto and his toad brother. Gamakichi tried to cleave Kakazu in two to interrupt his process, but the wind mask knocked him aside. Kakazu, seeing another chance to attack, gave the order to his mask. Finish that irksome beast. Futen, Atsugai, wind release, pressure damage. The wind mask fired off a tornado-like blast that Gamakichi barely evaded as he returned to an upright position as the attack was called out. It stayed in tornado form for a moment before expanding outward, taking the wind pressure to its highest limit and releasing a concussive blast that caught Gamakichi and sent him flying. The toad hit the ground clutching his tanto and grunting in pain from the injuries that he suffered. Gamakichi. The cry from both Naruto and Gamatsu, who both moved to the downed toad's side as he struggled and failed to pick himself up to his feet. Gamatsu was hands-on trying to assist his brother who refused to stay down. Kakazu laughed cruelly as he sent out his lightning element mask to finish the job. How sweet, now you can all S together. Raiten, Gian, lightning release, false darkness. A burst of lightning came from the mask that flew at the trio. Naruto cursed and clapped to begin a transmutation. Placing his hands on the ground, he formed a massive, thick wall that rose over 15 feet high and went 20 feet across. A side effect of using alchemy when tapping into Kyuubi's chakra was enhanced effect due to using a more potent natural energy as a catalyst. However, this was futile as the lighting L straight through the rock. Naruto threw his body in the way of the attack to protect the toads and the lighting L straight through the upper right side of his C. Naruto ni. XXX. With Akiza and Hidden. Akiza moved inside of Hidden's guard and parried his side swing with her elbow into the pole of the weapon before Hidden sank a fist into her belly. It didn't do any damage, due to her jutsu, but it disrupted her attack. Hiden pulled his scythe back far enough to bounce the metal pole of the weapon off of her head, snapping her head back and leaving her bells ringing. Akiza narrowly ducked a swing of the scythe only to this time catch a kick to the face that crumbled what was left of her armor. No. I'm almost totally out of chakra. The jutsu won't hold any longer. She released the rest of the jutsu as she was sent sliding back on her butt, much to Hiden's amusement. Out of tricks, aren't we, little girl? Are you giving up? Akiza pulled herself to her feet and flipped Hiden off. Go F yourself, or get your little masked buddy to do it for you. I'm not quitting and letting you take Fullmetal away from me. Her eyes lowered to the ground as she clenched her fists. I would rather S than let you people take him. Hiden licked his lips. Well now, that can be easily arranged. Come here B. Looking off in the direction that Naruto went, she turned back to Hiden with a determined look in her eyes. This is the single worst idea that I've ever had in my entire life. Even if I do end up finishing this guy off, I'll still be. Ugh, it's too late to care now. No matter what, it should still be enough to buy me or Fullmetal time if nothing else. Akiza summoned her halberd one more time from the ground and see her palm before draining her B out onto the blade. I can't K you. Not as I am. Now I still think that you and your immortality are complete and utter B, but the way things are going I won't hold out for any support to get here. Seeing as that you're going to K me anyway, I see no reason to not try and at least make things completely and utterly miserable for you before I go, because Fullmetal is going to eviscerate you even if I lose. Hiden had an angry look on his face. He had been trying to get the girl to B for the entire battle, and then she goes and does it herself. No respect for an opponent's style, I tell you. Akiza smirked as the anger washed across Hiden's face. Yeah, sorry, no B for you. This is all for Seki Kiritateru. Do you know the best thing about weapons of legend? That only a handful of people in existence have ever known what they could do except for the wielders, and all of the past wielders are S. Akiza made a series of one-handed seals as her weapon began to pulse. So your stupid blade can drink your B. Big deal, it sure isn't doing any damage to me, is it? Hiden barked at the dark-skinned girl. Akiza gave Hiden a pleasant smile so wide that her eyes were closed. Do you know how many wielders my halberd has had since it was created? 1. My weapon was created long before the current system of shinobi fell into place. Legend has it that the first user lived and fought in the times of the Rikudo Sennin, sage of 6 paths. He was the guardian of the tablet that the sage left behind for his descendants. Hiden gripped his scythe tightly as his patience was wearing thin. Enough with the bedtime stories. I'm not done yet, Hiden. Please let me finish, it will make sense as to why I'm telling you this when I'm done. Speaking with an even tone, Akiza's smile stretched even further, to the point where it was starting to unnerve Hiden. Now, as I was saying, power-hungry men, such as the types that comprise your organization today, tried to reach for something they had no business trifling with, namely the Rikudo Sennins were left on Earth to the Guardian's protection, and declared war on him, amassing groups of foolish and morally fiberless men to face him down. Eventually he could no longer hold out against his enemies, and upon his death the original user cursed his blade. Akiza showed the weapon to Hiden. The blade had turned B-red and the pole had red runes running along it. The fool that tried to take this blade as a spoil of war went insane and his entire band of fellow marauders before hiding the Rikudo Sennin's secrets and turning the blade on himself. This weapon chooses the user. To try and take it and use it by force will end very badly for you. Seki Kiritateru will bend your will and tap into your most primal and B instincts. It will destroy your mind and leave you an empty golem, a shell only meant to K. Hiden smirked. Sounds like my kind of weapon actually. I might have to take it off of your corpse when I finish you. Akiza shook her head. You say that like you're not the first person with that mindset. The process is actually quite painful. Those that were unworthy of this blade ended up being haunted by the voices of those who had lost their lives in the weapon's presence. Eventually they all mutilated themselves to get rid of the voices. They all had the same mark, they had see their ears off. They then became berserkers, roaming the land and K anything with a heartbeat before they were finally compelled by to turn the blade on themselves. The only visible sign that anything was wrong at first were the eyes. You're lucky, or unlucky I should say. Not even Fullmetal or Jiraiya sensei know anything about this. Otherwise they would have made me swear to never use it. Akiza slowly opened her eyes to reveal black eyes that had replaced her formerly forest green orbs, all the way through. Akiza's smile had turned into a fanged grin that revealed teeth so sharp that she accidentally see her lip. This is the curse of the Rikudo Kukenin, guardian of the six paths. Hiden gave her a questioning look. Curse. What kind of dharma do you take me for? The Rikudo Senin is a myth, you're full of shi. Hiden was set off by an unholy screech of attack from Akiza, who launched herself at Hiden quicker than she had ever moved until that point. Hiden lifted his scythe to block, but instead of the articulate S and skill moves he had been used to from her by now, she charged straight at him and drove her halberd right through his C. Hiden gasped as he found himself drowning on his own B. Akiza continued to shriek as she kept running forward with Hiden on her blade. She eventually drove him into a boulder, cracking it with the kinetic force that she generated. Before Hiden could even move, she clawed at his face with her fingernails, actually gouging one of his eyes out. Hiden shoved her off and screamed, with B pouring from his mouth as his optic nerves hung outside of the socket that formerly housed his eye. Akiza crushed the eye in her hand and kicked Hiden in the groin, forcing the man to his knees. She then s him across his face with the pole of the halberd and began bludgeoning him with the blunt end of her halberd, caving in a part of his skull with the ferocity of her attack. Proving how immortal he truly was, Hiden grabbed the side that he still had attached to the cable tied onto his person and s Akiza in the side with the blade, eliciting a pained yell that backed her off a bit. Akiza touched at the area where B was now pouring from and watched it drip from her hands with a smile. Turning her evil black eyes to Hiden, she saw him ingest the B from his side and stand back to his feet. That was vicious. If only you were a follower of Jashin Sama. Like this, the way you are now, you would have been his perfect little disciple, but now you have to s. Hiden made a move to start some kind of seal on the ground, but Berserker Akiza was on him before he could do anything. XXX. With Naruto and Kakazu. From behind the wall that had a hole punched straight through it, Naruto dropped to his back with a smoking hole in the upper right corner of his C, charred black F surrounding the wound. B was flowing from Naruto's mouth as he rapidly sucked in breath, hyperventilating. Naruto-kun. Calm down, you're going into shock. Just slow your breathing down a little bit, let me help you or you're going to black out. Do not black out. QB was frantically trying to heal his wound, but there was only so much she could do for the time being. All she could do right now was run damage control and make sure he didn't s out on the field. Getting back up was up to him entirely. Gamatotsu scooped Naruto onto his back and got moving as the two remaining masks tried to press the advantage by going over the wall to finish the battle. Gamakichi was the protector while Gamatotsu and Naruto stayed away to let the blonde get some time to himself to recover from his grievous wounds. Gar, son of AB. F lightning. Naruto thought to himself as he weakly looked behind himself and Gamatotsu to Gamakichi, who was failing at keeping the masks back. Another tail, QB-chan. I'm not going down like this, and I'm not letting my summons get hurt because I can't get up and help them fight. QB acknowledged his request with more power as a third chakra tail sprouted from his chakra cloak. Gamatotsu, put me down, it's not safe for you to carry me anymore, I can hurt you like this. Gamatotsu wondered what he was talking about until he began to feel a burning sensation from where Naruto was on his back. He stopped moving and let Naruto slide off of his back. Naruto L off the rest of his B, tattered shirt as Gamatotsu could see his wound closing itself, slowly but surely. Gamatotsu looked over to where Gamakichi was. We need to go help Aniki, Naruto ni. Naruto nodded. Let's go then, he's done more than enough today, you both have. With that, Naruto vanished in a burst of speed and Gamatotsu hopped off to follow. The two masks realigned with one another as Kakazu tired of dealing with the interference of the toads. Looking at the beaten-up summon, he motioned his masks to come closer to him. I'm sick of dealing with these small fry. This one and let's finish up with the QB kid. The two masks charged up their respective attacks as Gamakichi spit off to the side defiantly. Gamayuden, Toad Oil Bullet. Naruto had stood back on Gamatotsu's back and channeled wind chakra through the young toad system to enhance the jutsu. Gamakichi's eyes widened in realization as a massive glob of oil 4 times his size flew past his head and he made a quick series of hand seals with his webbed fingers. Kaiten, Enden, fire release, flame bullet. Gamakichi fired a fireball from his mouth that caught up with the glob of oil fired by his little brother and ignited the dangerous fluid. All three called out the name of the collaboration attack. Futen, Gamayu Enden, wind release, toad oil flame bullet. The resulting mass of fiery death came rushing at Kakuzu, who quickly ordered his masks to attack. K them now. The two masks fired their attack at once at the massive fireball, forcing a cyclone pulsing with electricity to S headlong into the collaboration jutsu from Naruto and the Toads. The attacks were destroying much of the landscape as they took up quite a bit of room each. Naruto scratched his head as he and the sons of Gamabunta waited to see the results of the clash. Man, we're really F this place all up. I hope no one lives anywhere near here. Eventually the electric cyclone dissipated and the oily, wind-enhanced firestorm rolled through unperturbed, engulfing Kakuzu and his masks entirely. Kakuzu let out a paint-peeling scream as his two masks were turned to ash from the intensity of the attack. Naruto sat down in a huff as he let his chakra cloak vanish. Gamatotsu dropped to the ground, with B coming from his mouth. That last jutsu we used hurt Naruto knee. Naruto looked at Gamatotsu apologetically. I'm sorry big guy. That was all my fault. I was channeling Kyubi-chan's chakra through you when we combined for the attack. Are you okay? Gamatotsu gave Naruto a weak smile. I'll be fine Ni-san. I'm just really tired. Naruto rubbed the toad on his back before walking to Gamakichi. Gamakichi gave Naruto a high five. How are you doing Naruto Ni? Naruto rubbed the area where Kakuzu's attack L his C. Kyubi-chan handled most of the bad stuff. If my right arm wasn't auto-mail I wouldn't be able to move it though, so I'm definitely thankful for that. You guys saved my route here today. Gamakichi waved him off with a tired laugh. I would normally be hitting you up for something to chow on right now, but today I just want to go home and get some treatment. Naruto transmuted his blade arm back to normal. Yeah, Gamabunta's going to lose it when he finds out that you guys helped me take down an S-ranked missing nin. Gamatotsu's eyes were still peeled out on the charred battlefield. Naruto ni, he's still alive. I can feel him out there. Naruto narrowed his eyes out in the distance. Wiping himself off, he reformed his blade arm and walked slowly out into the area where Gamatotsu was looking. The two brother toads followed behind, wanting to see their first true battle out until the end. Eventually Naruto found Kakuzu, laying on the ground, with serious burns all over his body, groaning lowly. Naruto cringed as he saw how bad it was. Kakuzu's mask had been burned onto his face from the intensity of the flames. Kakuzu chuckled through the pain, beaten by a snot-nosed kid and his baby-faced summons. Laughed, you're 1/10 of my age and experience and you handled me like a pro kid. Naruto drew ever closer to the former Taki nin. I have to be good. Too many people count on me for me to be weak. Besides, it's always up to the future generations to surpass those that came before them. It was only a matter of time. You can't fight change. Kakuzu coughed and Naruto saw his burnt mask stain red. Your little Iwa girl, I wasn't lying when I said she was in trouble. You thought I was tough. Hidden truly is immortal. There's nothing that can K him, and he'll keep coming for her until she's S. Go boy. Naruto nodded and drew his blade up high before bringing it down and severing Kakuzu's head from his shoulders. Gamakichi and Gamatotsu both gave the man a moment of silence as Naruto sealed his head inside of a scroll. Placing his ignition glove onto his hand to burn Kakuzu's body, he scoffed as he realized it was in tatters. Gamakichi shrugged and used his fire jutsu to burn it himself. Naruto turned to the two toads. Go home guys. I can finish this myself. They both nodded and bid Naruto farewell before disappearing back to Mount Myoboku in a cloud of smoke. Naruto then took off to where he had last left Akiza. XXX. With Akiza and Hidden. You're one crazy bee. Hidden shouted with glee as he tried to keep Akiza off of him, a sharp contrast to how the fight had progressed thus far. Hidden had been trying to do something to keep Akiza off of him ever since he S her in the side, but she refused to slow down her attack. I think I like you better like this Iwa girl. Why didn't you do this from the start? We could have been having a blast. Hidden's question wasn't answered as Akiza's K mindset had her stuck on taking Hidden's bowels and L him out with her halberd. Growling in a feral manner, Akiza swung her weapon in an effort to desperately separate something from Hidden's body. Hidden simply stood in place and laughed as Akiza S into his body with her halberd again and again. After one of her S, Akiza screamed in pain that she hadn't expected. Hidden's face simply held a superior smirk, angering the berserk female who charged forward and S Hidden through his shoulder in an effort to wipe that look off of his face. Upon L his shoulder, Akiza shrieked and dropped her halberd, A hole similar to the one she had just given Hiden appeared on her shoulder, disabling her arm. Akiza looked at her wound and then at Hiden, who had taken on a new appearance while she had been distracted. Hiden now had black skin and white markings that looked similar to a skeleton. That little thing you have going for you isn't a curse, little girl. This is my curse. Hiden pulled out a spike and held it high before driving it deep into his own thigh, grinding it deep into the muscle. Hissing in pain with a satisfied look on his face, he laughed gleefully as Akiza dropped to one knee with the identical wound that Hiden had just inflicted in himself. Akiza tried to rise to her feet to rend Hiden asunder but found herself unable to stand. Hiden found this amusing. My curse allows me to do damage to you by inflicting it on myself. Everything I do to myself. Hiden dragged the spike down his arm, drawing a long C that Akiza ended up getting on her own arm. Happens to you too. Akiza growled and kept trying to stand, and Hiden kept himself in the legs to keep her down. I like that spirit. Hiden himself in the stomach to inflict more punishment on the girl. Akiza held her wounded belly and coughed up still glaring at Hiden as she just couldn't get close to him anymore. Reaching into her pouch, she recklessly threw a handful of shuriken that Hiden allowed to hit him head on. The sharp stars hit him all along his torso, L into his F. However, as Hiden had been saying since he activated his curse, she took the exact same damage. Hiden pulled the shuriken out of his body as he looked at the tired, beaten frame of his opponent. It looks like I'm not going to be able to make you beg. I guess I'll just K you now. Akiza shakily pulled herself back up to her feet and let out one more scream before charging at Hiden to K. Hiden lifted his spike above his head, intent on driving it into his own heart to end Akiza's life. Before he could finish the battle, he was blasted from the side with a dropkick from a blonde blur. Naruto looked down at where Hiden was standing and back up at the silver-haired immortal. Hiden slowly picked himself up. You F brat. I was just about to finish my fun with your little girlfriend. Naruto looked over at Akiza, who had collapsed once again and was still trying to get to Hiden. Naruto ran to her side and held her close to his body. Akiza-chan, stop. Please. He wiped the bangs from her face and frowned at the sight of her pitch-black eyes. You gave it everything you had, didn't you? Akiza looked up at Naruto, still trying to move. He could still see the emotion in her eyes. Fullmetal. She stroked his whisker marks with her hands. Naruto hugged her tightly and kissed her on the forehead. Stop fighting him, Akiza-chan. You can't take any more of this. Let me finish him. Please let me protect you. I made you a promise years ago, and you K yourself out here isn't going to help me fulfill it. Everything's going to be okay. The color came back to Akiza's eyes as she stared up at Naruto with quivering green eyes. He's immortal, Fullmetal. Nothing I did K him. He just kept laughing and standing up. He's a monster. Suddenly she cried out in pain. Naruto looked around frantically for any sign of what was causing her discomfort. Started coming from underneath her Iwa-jun and vest, causing him to panic even more. Turning around, he saw Hiden driving his spike into his C with a cruel grin on his face. Naruto's eyes flashed red as he clapped and transmuted the ground underneath Hiden, sucking him in up to his ankles and destroying his symbol of Jashin. What the F is this? Wow, runt. Way to leave a trail to follow. Naruto turned his head to see a familiar head of white hair and red eyes walking towards him with a disgruntled look on his face. So starting random forest fires in the middle of High no Kuni is the way you tell everyone that you're back. I think I liked it better when you pranked the S out of everyone. Way less collateral damage. Naruto blinked in surprise. Big boss. What the F are you doing here? Joshiro kept walking. Tsunade sent me out here to make sure you got back to Konoha in one piece. I guess from the look of you it's a good thing she did too. He stopped next to Akiza and kneeled down next to her. Did you do this or was it the other guy? That brought Naruto back to the point of homicide as he looked back towards Hiden. Take care of her, big boss. He formed a cage bunchen and left it with Akiza while he strode over to Hiden slowly with M in his eyes. Hiden sneered at Naruto, who kept his face impassive, the only thing betraying his emotions being the eyes that had red flickering in with his electric blues. So you say you're immortal? That's very unfortunate for you. Naruto transmuted his arm into his rifle and pointed it at Hiden's C point blank, bang. Naruto blew a hole in Hiden's C the size of a softball and was surprised when the man simply yelled in pain, so I guess you really are. Naruto looked over at Joshiro, who nodded in understanding. He unhooked his chakraman chain from his en and forced it to change size in order to begin carving up the landscape around Naruto, Hiden, Akiza, and himself. Naruto reached into his supply pouch and pulled out a clear ball the size of Rasengan with some kind of thick viscous fluid inside. Naruto tossed the ball in his hands a few times before Hiden right in the face with the ball, shattering it and getting shards all over his face. Hiden yelled in pain and cursed Naruto's name as the fluid and B cascaded down Hiden's body. Naruto walked a safe distance away and pulled out a kunai. Turning back around to Hiden, he started carving into the back of his own hand. Do you want to know what I have covering you right now? It's a little something I was working on and was planning on showing to Konoha's R&D department when I got back. I'd rather test it out on you though. It's a little combination of primarily plastic polystyrene and hydrocarbon benzene. I like to call it Napalm B. Naruto pulled out a scroll and unraveled it in front of him before making another cage bunchen to stand by it and moved further back. Naruto showed Hiden the back of his hand to reveal that he had carved a transmutation circle in the back of his hand. Now then, Mr. Immortal. I'm going to make you wish you weren't. With that, the clone of Naruto put chakra into the scroll only to be dispelled when flames licked out from the scroll. Naruto looked at Hiden coldly before snapping his fingers and sending the flames from the scroll flying out at Hiden. Upon making contact with Hiden, the mixture on his body ignited, covering the man in flaming material that stuck to his skin. Hiden howled in agony as he cooked alive under the oppressive heat. Naruto walked over to Joshiro, who had been watching the entire process while watching over Akiza. Wow, so that's what you've been doing for so long. I want some of that when we get home. Don't hold out on me, Runty. Naruto's eyes were on Akiza's unconscious body as he walked towards his brother and his lover. Joshiro and Naruto ignored the screams of agony from Hiden as he motioned for Naruto to kneel down beside him. We need to get her to Tsunade Ototo. She's in some real trouble. Heal her lung and I can only keep draining so much fluid from it. Haku-chan only taught me enough for battlefield medicine. Naruto nodded and gently picked Akiza up as the brothers began walking away from the scene. Hiden, however, wasn't done. Get the F back here. I'll K all of you heathens. Jashin Sama will bathe in your B. Hiden had been burned to the bone all over his body. He was horribly burnt black over all of his body and the burning fluid still covered his frame. Joshiro and Naruto turned around to face him once more. Naruto handed Akiza to Joshiro and walked back towards Hiden a few steps before stopping. Ultimate technique, Joshiro's final technique, Big F transmutation. Naruto clapped and placed his hands on the edge of the marks that Joshiro had seen into the ground, a massive transmutation circle. Hiden turned around as a massive gate emerged from the ground covered in writing from every language imaginable. What the F? Naruto turned and walked away after taking Akiza back from Joshiro. Goodbye, Immortal. I hope you enjoy your time beyond the gate. Hiden tried to escape from where Naruto had trapped him, but the injuries to his body had destroyed any semblance of muscle that his body had on it. What F gate? What the F are you talking about? Naruto turned back to Hiden over his shoulder. The gate of truth, you idiot. Have fun. I'm sure an immortal like you would be very much appreciated to the denizens beyond. What F denizens? Naruto smirked and shook his head as he and his older brother walked away. You'll see. Come on, big boss. Let's go home. Naruto and Joshiro vanished from sight as a creaking sound directed Hiden's attention back to the gate. Through the crack in the opening he saw countless eyes and a few mischievous grins before endless black hands latched onto his body and dragged him inside, tearing him asunder. Hiden let out curses against Naruto all the way until the gate shut itself and descended back into the ground, taking with it a considerable chunk of the natural life surrounding the area. XXX. Leader Sama, it seems that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki defeated Hiden and Kakazu. What are your orders now? Ripple Pattern eyes narrowed. Leave it be for now. Dispatch Deodara and Sasori to Suna to obtain the Ichibi. We will deal with the Kyuubi in due time. Zetsu. Zetsu sunk back into the ground, leaving the figure alone with his thoughts. A fool, the boy that thinks he can go against God. Soon, very soon he will know the true meaning of pain. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.